Hello and welcome. This reading today is going to be a reading for all astrological signs for the Sagittarius season. And already what I'm picking up from Spirit this morning is there's going to be an expansion, an outward expansion, and a more obvious expansion from within us. It's like through the Scorpio season and through a lot of this year, there was a lot of internal work. In fact, the Scorpio season marked the last sort of cog in the wheel, the last sort of part of the cycle, the ending of the cycle, but the most intense in some ways part of a cycle of doing internal work. A lot of the growth and work that was that we were charged with this year, put it that way, has been very internal. It's been about us going inward and processing our ways, our internal ways, and then our external ways. So what I mean by ways is our internal processes, the way that we respond to challenges in life, successes in life, the way that we process and respond to those things, but also the way that we manage our emotions generally. It's like which way's the water, which way's the current going within us. We got to see or get a sense of how energy transpires within us and from within us out into our world. So things like I'm a good receiver of good blessings, of good opportunities, but I don't take advantage of them, or I make my own opportunities, or I'm an overgiver, which I've talked about that many times in my videos. So I'm good at helping people and stepping in to help people, but I'm not good at getting help or asking for help. I'm really good at listening to people and letting them be a sounding board for their problems, but I'm not good at expressing my emotions, like things like that. Like I'm not looking for problems in these areas necessarily, but whatever the internal processes are and the way that we operate, that became way more obvious this year for many people. And Scorpio season was like the last sort of part of it where we really got pushed deeper within any deeper emotions that needed to come out. And you may have only felt it a day or two during Scorpio season. For some people, it was the whole season and the whole year where emotions were coming up randomly. And it's like, why is this happening? And what I noticed is that when you sit with those emotions and work through those emotions and allow yourself to feel them without getting up into your head, that the next day is so much lighter. That's what I've noticed. The next day is so much lighter because you allowed for what you're feeling. And I think this year has been a year of really enriching and our inner self and developing deepening our relationship with self. So treating ourselves more kindly. So that looks like things like where I say, if you're going through some emotional upheaval, or you just, it feels random that why these emotions come up today. I know who they're associated to or what event they're associated to, but why am I feeling this today? And so you go, oh, well, I'm obviously meant to feel this today. I'm ready to feel this today so that I can purge it. But you do the purging in a very passive way. You just allow the energy to pass through you, and you allow yourself to feel it. So instead of like, oh, well, I need to do this, I need to do that, I don't want to be feeling this, and running from it, being harsh on yourself, distracting yourself, busying yourself, trying to shut it down, treating your internal emotions as though they're inconvenient and a nuisance. That's the old way. So the new way, I think what a lot of people have discovered this year is that they're allowing themselves to sit with it and feel it and observe. If you're feeling mainly the emotions, then you start observing the thoughts that are attached to those emotions. If it's mainly thought, I think for a lot of the year it's been mainly thoughts, and then we've been able to observe the emotions attached to those thoughts. But in Scorpio season it seemed to flip and it became mainly emotion, and then we were able to observe the emotion and observe the thoughts attached, or events or people attached to those emotions. And it was a real purging. So now we're ready in Sagittarius season, and I'm not saying there won't be a little bit more of that. It's sort of like, I think it's the Temperance card where the angel is pouring water from one chalice to the other. That's tying up loose ends, reflecting on what has transpired before I move forward. There might be a little bit of this, maybe for the first half of Sagittarius season, the next couple of weeks. So it's not like a switch gets flicked and suddenly it's go time. But essentially this season of Sagittarius is go time. It's all about, this is how I woke up, was with the image of the archer, the bow and arrow. I believe they showed me Sagittarius with the bow and arrow in hand. So it's like it's ready. We're ready to not just take aim. I think we've been sharpening our tools this year. Whether you're aware of it or not, there's been a sharpening of our tools, sharpening of our skills, and now we've got the bow and arrow, and we're if you haven't already taken aim in terms of knowing in which direction you want to take action, it may be in all directions. It may just be an expansion of all of your energy, in which way you can go anyway, and place it anywhere you like. But it's like the drawing back, which creates the tension before we let go, and the arrow goes where we've pointed it, right? So that's the kind of energy we're stepping into now. That's the kind of influence that's coming across us. It's like you no longer need to feel it, you just need to do it. And I will say to you now, don't take that as you're being asked to do anything. You're being asked to exercise your free will. And they're saying the coast is clear now. The path is clear now. For you to actually, you've done all your reflecting, your hermetizing, you've done all that stuff. If there's a little bit more to do, we'll be patient with ourselves and tolerant and kind to ourselves, and we'll continue to do that. That might be part of our life for the rest of our lives, to have that level of self-reflection. Yeah. And now it's time to know that whatever you want to step towards, you can step towards. The path is clear. I also was shown Dolphin, and the spirit of Dolphin. The spirit of Dolphin is, I always sort of see Dolphin as they're so beautifully ergonomically designed, if that's the right word, that water just flies off them like water off a duck's back. You know that saying? So I always associate when I see Dolphin or feel Dolphin, it's the ease of slipping by things, navigating through things really easily. Nothing catches me. Nothing. My body's so sleek and smooth that there's nothing. Water just passes over me with ease, and air does as well. Yeah. So I can move with ease now, and also they're very playful creatures. They love socializing as well, and they have great social networks. So it's kind of the opposite of the Scorpio energy. It's the opposite of the energy that we've been feeling a lot this year. It's about coming out of our shells, and I said shelves. So it's like, take that book finally off the shelf. Take yourself off the shelf. Take your spirituality off the shelf, because it's time for action. If you so choose, whatever action looks like for you. But certainly social, getting out more, socializing, networking, yeah. And if none of what I'm describing is you, if you're a very quiet person, then that's fine. But you may find yourself in situations where you go somewhere and you don't know anyone, but it's a very vibey place. You might just be going somewhere for a coffee, but you happen to walk into this cafe that you haven't been before, or it's normally a quiet one for you, but at this day it's buzzing. So if you might find yourself surrounded by buzzy social energy, even if you're a hermit. Yeah. You also might feel the desire to get more social, and if you feel that and it excites you, then do it. Yeah. If it doesn't excite you, have a look at why. Is it patterns of the past that's stopping you from doing things that you kind of feel inspired to do today? Do it. Now have some water. Dolphins also very expressive and very intelligent. They use sound through water to bounce off objects, and it comes back, and they pick up where objects are, that kind of stuff as well. So being able to intuitively, if I translate that into human form, intuitively suss out the vibes of someone or a place or environment or whatever before interacting, being much more using your intuition to move forward. But when you move swiftly, but you've got the ability to also stop suddenly as well and take it in and assess or analyze what you need to analyze. Okay. Sagittarians also don't do things by halves, and they often suffer from foot in mouth syndrome. So they'll speak up without thinking or act without thinking, can be a little bit impulsive, but it's part of what makes them exciting. So and their life exciting. So there's going to be a little bit more. They look to travel and have new experiences. So that's what I'd say. The coast is clear for you to explore and see what you want to do, or act on that thing that you've been waiting to do. To speak a little bit more freely and not be so concerned about what others think, that kind of stuff. Be more you. Be you. Okay, so I'm going to shuffle here. Let me know, Spirit, when it's time. And the other thing that I'm getting is Sagittarians are not obsessed with perfection. So particularly if you're a Virgo, Gemini, or Aquarius, or really any sign, particularly if perfection is you know, if I do something I want to do it properly, or you know, that's awesome, da da da. But in this season, we're going to be encouraged to just do it. Just start something, and you'll work it out along the way. You know what I mean? You work it out along the way, and it might look a little bit messy from the outside, but you know what you're doing, and you'll work out how to proceed with it once you start it. Just a little bit of throwing caution to the wind and just taking the leap of faith and doing what you want to do. Yeah, I'm not suggesting you don't do your research and whatever. Use all your faculties before you leap, but don't let those things hold you back. We're being encouraged to expand during this season. You might find yourself singing, like doing stuff around the house, and just all of a sudden you break into some kind of song, or a tune comes to mind and you start humming it or whatever. Enjoy that. It's all part of it, opening up the throat chakra. Being more expressive of who you are inside. Okay, okay, that one wants to come out on top. So, we've got the Emperor, the Lovers, the Empress, Hanged Man, the Fool, Wheel of Fortune, the Tower, Strength, the Sun. Jesus, is full on. And the Chariot. So remember that this is a general reading, so it's non-specific, although there might be some specific examples that I give. It's non-specific. If you're looking for a reading that's specific to you, then the email address how to book for a private reading with me is in the description box. Thank you also for people who donate to me. There's a link there to donate me a coffee or something like that. That's very much appreciated. Thank you very much. So take what resonates. Awesome. We have the Magician. So with the Emperor, so current position. Actually, no, they're telling me to come over here to the Hangman. So we're starting with distant past, right? So this is twofold. On one level, this has been about where we've been holding ourselves back from getting out into the world, or holding ourselves back, or we know what we've been working on internally, and we haven't released it yet. It's like you might have been writing a book, for example, or creating music or whatever, mapping out plans for a new business or anything like that, and haven't told anyone about it, and you've just been working away, toiling away at that, and then so there's been this whole holding pattern, this holding back. There's been introversion, or I'm not ready yet to explore this aspect of myself or my life or whatever. I'm holding back. A very introverted, self-reflective time. So this has been about, I'm aware of everything going on around me, and I'm choosing not to get involved in everything the way that I used to feel obliged to do or excited to do. I'm actually hanging back and just taking stock of being more reflective and choosing more cerebrally, like having a think about and a feel about things before I interact or expose my cards, if that makes sense. So quite private. And that's allowed, that introspection has allowed for a lot of shifts in perception, because you've been able to, you're in observation mode, you've been able to observe what comes of those things that are going on around us. It's kind of like if there was in the old pattern, you would get involved in something and be part of whatever the outcome of that is, good or bad. I'm deliberately being vague here because it's very different. The experience is very different for everyone. But this time you hung back and were watching. Oh, there's the cycle of that energy repeating again, or there's it's time again for that party that we're supposed to have, or whatever it is. It's come round again, but this time I'm going to hang back. I just feel to be on my own and just hang back and not participate. And then later on you hear about the party, or you hear about whatever the event that's taken place, or whatever. Or perhaps it's a person coming back into town to say hello to everyone, and you kind of decide, I'm just going to hang back. And then you hear about all the drama that happened. And then you're like, oh, phew, glad I didn't get involved in that. I didn't need to go through that cycle again. Yeah? So that kind of stuff. That's distant past. So, and then more recent past, that's then enabled you to, we've got the Fool, so it's then enabled you to feel free to do your own thing, to set aside other people's stuff and do your own thing. Do what you need to do for yourself, and do more to the point, do what you want to do with yourself. Out there smelling the roses on your own path, and you're not letting other people's stuff affect you. This is emotional and mental detachment from others, not in a bad way, in a healthy way. And so is this about detachment. And that leads us to where we are today. So where we are today is the Emperor, and very, very stoic, very does things very deliberately. Yeah, so the Fool takes a leap of faith, and then whatever we've been through it. We've had challenges and lots of lessons and things to learn. So we're now gone from almost a young, naive, excitable energy into one of, I've done what I've had to do. So there's been, it suggests a process of in the last few months or this year of really, I'm talking to people who have sort of gone through a period of like really sobering up, as in if they were ever wearing rose-coloured glasses in any aspect of their life, they're not anymore. It's like you've gone through a tower moment where your perception has been suddenly shifted because you've been given the truth of the matter about a person or about an environment or place. It could be a place of work or family situation. Whatever has created great challenge for you, has the outcome of that is that you're very grounded and immovable and deliberate in your actions, and you don't proceed with anything without giving it much thought and introspective checking in on your emotions, how you feel about it, and you're very clear within yourself. All of that wisdom and stoicism has come from the experiences that you've had the challenges that you've gone through. So well done. The influence that's coming across your life at the moment. So the area in which Spirit is sort of highlighting, or the universe is highlighting a particular area of our lives because that's where we can grow the most. It's sort of like saying, we have all the different compartmentalized areas of our lives, and they'll highlight one or lift one up and say, this is what you need to work on. This is the flavour of what you're in at the moment that needs to be addressed or finalised or acted upon. and it's the Lover's card. So in this Sagittarius season, there's going to be, and I think particularly maybe we shall see. I was going to say the first half, but we shall see what comes out in the weekly readings, and it's different for everybody. So maybe that's why the Spirit's stopping me from saying that. Something is going to bring our minds back to our relationships. Something, whether it's communication from someone or I feel like it's communication, or it could be Spirit saying our intuition. So it's intuitive messaging. It's like something unlocks in our brains one day, and the penny gets to drop. It actually releases the penny that Spirit's already given you, and it gets to drop into place. And so suddenly we have this clarity, this intuitive epiphany of clarity around relationships, around our relationships, around either past relationships or the way that we behave within relationships. Yeah, the dynamic within that. So if there's not communication from someone outside of you, then it will be like internal communication from Spirit, your intuition, kicking into place and then going, I get it now. I get it now. I get it now. So some kind of further reflection or understanding or clarity or focus will be placed on your relationships, past or present, and I believe on a deeper level, something around the dynamics that go into play when you're in a relationship. It could be that we actually find ourselves in relationships. So if you're currently single, it could be that in Sagittarius season, you actually find yourself in a relationship. That's another perfect way of this happening, because that will highlight the dynamics that come into play when you're in relationships, being in one, if you're single, if that makes sense. But your focus is currently is being brought to the dynamics of relationship. And that could be not just intimate relationships, that could be, with what are the dynamics going on with your friends, what are the dynamics going on with your work colleagues, with your family. It could be that it would also be that. So intimate relationships, definitely, but also it's almost like time of not reflection in terms of in an introverted way, but it's like clarity, things dropping into place where we understand finally, or we can see finally, what the dynamics are that play out within all of our relationships or particular ones. That's the focus. So you're being encouraged just to observe how you're interacting with others, what role if there's a role that you particularly play, if there's certain behaviours that you tend to exhibit within the different types of relationships that I just described. And does that serve you? Do you want to change that based on who you are today? Because you've gone through it. You've gone through it. And, there might be some guardedness. There might be some real cynicism in terms of trusting your current partner or an ex or a future partner. And maybe we need to soften that and look at why we're currently viewing intimate relationships or family or work colleagues or friends in that way. Maybe if we do some more healing, we can soften that, learn the lesson, keep the lesson, the benefits of the lesson, but not harden up. Yeah, not close our hearts, not be too cynical. Yeah, just put apply what am I trying to say? Apply the points of the lessons that we've learned through our experiences to our new movement forward, to our relationships, without. It's like when you go through a difficult period of emotional turmoil or mental anguish or heartbreak or things like that. It can really harden you up. It's like, oh, I'll never do that again. I'll never trust anyone like that again. I'll never, Take the lesson, but don't make you untrusting or too cynical or anything like that. Absolutely, if you avoided looking at the red flags before, now you will see the red flags and you will take those opportunities to actually explore what this red flag is about and why it's a red flag for you, and question things and use your intuition to suss situations out. You won't overlook the red flags. That's just an example. So tweak and fine tune the way, who are we today because of what we've gone through? Who are we today? How do we plan, and how can we refine the way that we interact with others in a relationship way, particularly intimately, but also, as I said, with our other relationships as well. And the universe is saying if we work on that just gently, there's no rush. You don't have to feel pressured to. It's like I feel like some people are going, oh really, relationships again? I'm over it. I don't want to deal with this stuff anymore. I just want to work. I'm throwing myself into my work, or I'm throwing myself into my family, or I don't want to know about it. They're saying have a look at it when the time is right, gently. There's no rush. There's no, just be reflective. And if you find yourself interacting with people, then observe what the role is that you play and whether that actually serves you or even them. So that kind of internal work will then take you into the Empress, and the Empress is sitting pretty, taking stock of the resources she has available to her. She receives abundance with ease. She can create stuff at the wave of a hand, so creation is easy for her. She's usually depicted as pregnant, so they say she's ready to give birth to a baby or a new project. Okay, but checking out her resources first. She's not in any rush. She'll do things as when she's ready. And no one can touch her. No one, she's not sitting there with a sword or anything like that. But everyone knows not to mess with her. Like she puts her place into a place of self-ease and peace, and a sort of self-reliance without being so stoic, so unemotional and unmoving. This is more free-flowing. I do these things because I feel good in myself. I trust myself not to betray or abandon myself again. I trust myself to see the red flags or to communicate when I see the red flags. Yeah? I trust myself to use all of my faculties, all of the faculties available to me and resources available to me to suss things out before I proceed if I'm getting warning signs about something. So that's awesome. So it's a softening, right? And you've got the Emperor and the Empress and the Lovers card in between. So what does that kind of tell you? I feel like there's going to be potentially some kind of union happening, okay? The Emperor, I'll say it again, the Emperor, the Empress and the Lovers card in between. So definitely Sagittarius season seems to be the focus is on relationships, but it's about moving from a stoic, this is someone who has been through difficulty and is behaving a certain way because of the way he or she was treated, because of the things that he or she had to endure. It's toughened them. It's you know, da da da. Maybe you were too soft before, too malleable before, too people pleasing before, and so it's toughened you. But they're saying you're being encouraged to have a look at it and soften and come from a place, when it comes to relationships, come from a place of, I have nothing to worry about. I don't need to worry about this person betraying me. I don't need to be cynical. I don't need to be tough and hard and worried about, you know, really fiercely defending boundaries and all that. I don't need to put all that angst and fear into it. I can behave with ease and please myself, because if I get any insight, any little inkling within myself that there's something awry to who I am today, will look into it, will express, and will do something about it if I have to. Yeah? In the past, you abandoned yourself. Today, that's not who you are. Today, you show up for yourself. So you can relax and enjoy. The influence that's coming in is the Wheel of Fortune. So you're going to, and what's really standing out is this fiery red and yellow here. So this is about the expansion that I was talking about. So the next influence that's coming in during this Sagittarius season is that it's giving me not just base chakra or root chakra, but the solar plexus. So we hold a lot of emotion in our solar plexus. There's also within that, the torso of the body is the enteric nervous system, which is another brain. There's actually this as much or more nerve endings in that area than there are in the brain. So it's like if you talk about gut instinct and whatever, when we walk into a room or a different environment where the energy changes, that's where we feel it, in our guts. And so there's this feeling of really learning to go with your gut instinct on things. You'll be able to make decisions on the fly quite quickly if needed without giving things too much thought. And I don't mean stepping into dangerous situations or things that put you at risk. I'm talking about, for example, being able to read a room or read the energy of a person way more easily because you're in tune now with your gut instinct, much more because of what you've been through this year, in the last few years, much more intuitively, more gutturally affected by energy and feelings. So if you get a sudden tightening up when a certain person puts themselves in front of you, you know to just watch this, just observe this. It doesn't mean they're a bad person, it just means I'm going to observe this person. I'm not going to agree to interact in any way or get involved in business with this person or whatever it is. I'm gonna sit back and watch them and see what they do with consistency over time. It's about acknowledging that the wheel is in our hands. Sorry, I need more water. The wheel is in our hands. It's almost like before, what I'm being given is, before we were way more unconscious. And so spirit, our ancestors, our guardian angels, whatever, however you want to describe the benevolent energies that surround us, that help to guide us, they had to kind of take the wheel because we were so unconscious in the way that we made decisions. It felt right at the time. There wasn't a lot of. It's like we went with the flow, and the flow took us into challenging areas, and because of the self-abandonment or not putting ourselves first, or whatever the right words are for you, we then, when we started to see things changing not for the better for us by going with the flow, we kind of just stayed on the boat instead of going, hang on a minute, what's going on here? I'm not happy with this, or I don't feel safe, or whatever, and stepping off the boat, or manoeuvring the boat to the bank and getting off the boat, or whatever it is. That didn't happen, and so just went with it. And so Spirit had to take the wheel. The universe had to take the wheel to navigate us. And we were still blind. And I can speak for myself, still blind as to what was actually going on. Dealing with abuse or whatever it was, yeah? And so in that moment, we don't have the headspace to be able to navigate our way through it, and Spirit takes the wheel, puts the right words into our mouths, or puts fire in our belly, or gets the wind under our feet to get us moving out of the situation. Because as far as the universe was concerned, we at that stage had all of the right tools or ingredients to later on be able to process and learn all of the lessons that we were meant to learn from that experience. So you didn't F up. This is not because you made a mistake. This is just because of the state that you were in before this tower period. You were just in a particular state that left you vulnerable, and Spirit's saying, we took the wheel and we got you to say that, or we got you to do that would be a little bit out of character for you, because we wanted to give you an inkling of where you're headed in terms of self-empowerment. We wanted to get you out of that. You'd already got all of the ingredients from that experience, enough ingredients to be able to come away from it, and as you process, to get all the lessons that we want you to learn, and to develop in a way we wanted you to develop. So that now the wheel is in your hands. That's what's being said here. So use your wit, and I don't mean any of these words in bad ways, right? Use your cunning, use your, what's that word when like a snake can get in and around anything? Let's say before it was malleability. You're less malleable. So you see, I'm sort of going through the animals that are surrounding this person here, and each of them has different qualities, and you can add to whatever the qualities are. So there's the sly dog, cunning, whatever, but you can use those powers for good. I'm not saying that you are sly or cunning. I'm saying that who you are today, you have the ability to be really clever. You have the ability to use your what would have been very amiable ways that allowed you to be flexible with any situation. Now you can use your flexibility to, I don't know, bend your mind a bit around. If someone's presenting you a certain narrative, you're able to see around it, under it, through it, above it. You don't just take for granted. You don't just take what they say for as the only truth. Yeah, you're actually able to, and when you make decisions, you're able to get around obstacles and around people or around situations with greater ease. You also have a fierce determination that once you decide on a direction, that you take that and you will not be told no. You're also, so with the lion, I'm getting pride, but it's not pride. I'm going to feel good about it too. I'm going to feel good about what I decide. I'm going to feel good about what I do. And I'm clever. I'm more clever now, and I'm more able to navigate my way smoothly around and through obstacles. I'm able to get the bird's eye view on things, take a higher perspective of what's going on here and look at the actual dynamics, and that will help me to navigate through situations, yeah? And I'm able to stay connected with the divine and not allow myself to feel trapped and unsafe and all of the things that disempower us, that keep us stuck in situations for longer than we need to be there. Yeah? Using your intellect and your drive to achieve what you want to achieve. That's what's coming. This is incredibly expansive. Exactly what I was saying at the beginning. Okay? Your mind, it seems, is still sort of stuck in processing the shock. What I'm getting from the tower here is actual shock. It's like, did that actually happen? Is this where my life is now? Is this where I am now? Did that actually just happen? That kind of thing. So the wool got taken from your eyes, and a rude awakening, a sudden shift or change in perception. On the flip side, so for some people it's that, for other people it can be a shift in a sudden, unexpected shift in perception, like I was saying before, of the aha moment of, I see now. I can see clearly, more clearly now, what the lesson is. What's that song? It's playing in my head now. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. Yeah? This is what this moment is. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds, blah, blah, blah. You get the gist, right? That's where we're at here. Literally, the sun has come up. We're shining. I know in the northern hemisphere you're going into winter. Down here in Australia, we're going into, we're in spring, going into summer. So it's very much a thing here, but that doesn't mean that your sun isn't rising wherever you are in the world. Okay, that means it's time for you to self-empower, to expand, to do what you want to do. And hopefully the Spirit's giving you the clarity and the tools here to know how to go about it. Okay, or at least the areas that you need to work on. Can I say also with the relationships thing, I think even some people, we give some people free passes, and the free passes have to stop. Or the free passes give them limited access, not full access. Does it make sense? Have a think about that. I think sometimes we allow people to, because of how we feel about them, or the title they have within our life, or the role they're playing in our lives, or we give them a free pass and we let them get away with more, or get access to more than what they're actually shown that they're deserving of. And I'm not saying look at what they're deserving or whatever. Sure, do that if you like, but I'm just saying, why should anyone have that much access? Why should they have full access to your inner world, to transparency around what you're thinking or feeling at any given time? Why give them full access if they haven't proven themselves over time? And are they giving you full access? And what triggered this thinking is, it's like sometimes friends will get too confident with us because they've been observing us over time and we seem to be very amiable and willing to please and so whatever. And so sometimes a friend will step up to us and in a challenging way, but with a smile on their face, and say, I want to do this. Can you lend me that? Or can you do this for me? Because this is what I want to do. They're kind of giving you a nudge to act on something that they want. And you can feel your gut go, oh, That's not where I was planning on using this resource or this time. But you ignore that for the sake of pleasing, and you go ahead with what they want to do. Yeah? And Spirit's saying that's that kind of stuff. So it's the big stuff, but it's also the more subtle stuff. That's going to change. You're being encouraged to listen to that and actually not just say yes because that's what's most agreeable, or because they seem to expect that it's not a problem for you to say yes. To actually stop and go, let me have a think about it. I'll get back to you. Or straight out, no, that's not where I wanted to use this resource. Or I don't have time for that. Or no, I don't want to do that. Such and such down the road will help you. Or our mate Billy will help you on that maybe. But I'm not in a place to help you with that. I've got other stuff I need to do for myself. That kind of communication. Without being worried about letting them down. So it's what I was saying, less worried about what people think. Okay, so what Spirit's saying here is the influence here is to look towards the light. So look at what was gained within you or around you by this tower happening, by this sudden shock or shift in perception happening. Might have been painful, this, that and the other, but what's the benefit of it? And start to lean towards what you can be grateful for this having happened. Okay? Don't get stuck in a mental loop of this happened to me, this happened to me, this happened to me, how horrible. Don't get stuck in the mental loop of that. What did I gain by this happening? Who was I before, and what am I now? Who am I now, and how do I conduct myself now based on the lessons I learned because of that? Yeah? I'll share something with you. I'm a very private person, but there's been moments this year where I have been bawling my eyes out. And do you know what has been coming out of my mouth and out of my guts and my heart while I've been bawling my eyes out? I've been saying, and you may not be, I'm not particularly religious, but I believe in a creator, okay? In a source of all life, force and intelligence and love. In those moments of bawling my eyes out uncontrollably, have been saying, thank you, God, for the lessons. Thank you, God, I can see what this is doing for me. I can see what I'm learning. I can see what I need to be feeling and what I need to release within myself. Thank you. So absolute gratitude while I felt like I'd been torn apart, ripped inside out. Okay? I'm not saying be like me, I'm perfect. I'm saying, I'm just giving you an example that even in your darkest moments, you can train your brain to find what's the silver lining on this cloud. What am I gaining from this? And if you can't see it in that moment, that's fine, but you can still be grateful. I'm grateful for whatever this is bringing me. I'm grateful for whatever positive changes this is developing within me. Even if it's making you angry, and that anger then is planting a seed within you whereby you don't allow yourself to be so amiable, so easily going with the flow, so easy, what other people want to do, so easily led down the garden path, influenced by others and their own motivations that you can't see. Whatever it is. That's a benefit, right? People see the anger as bad. No, it needs to be expressed, it needs to be felt, because it's going to change us into more balanced individuals who have our own back. So we have the Strength card. So if it's to take a snapshot of you within your life, and this position talks about the role that you're playing within your life, and that is one of a very strong person, a person who's got it all worked out, a person who is in this cycle within their own head and within their own lives of being untouchable. It's like I'm getting from this, you're generating your own light at the moment. You're generating your own light. And can I just jump back over here? Spirit's saying to me that you have a responsibility, now that the wheel's back in your hands, you have a responsibility to yourself to make sure you don't relive whatever this was in the past that got you to where you are today and where you're headed. It's your responsibility to use all of your faculties, your intuition, your newfound backbone, whatever it is, to do things in a different way. No pressure, but that's the responsibility that comes with the blessing of the Wheel of Fortune. Things are going, the cycle's going in your way now, in your favour. That's awesome. That can happen passively, but also you're responsible now for which way you turn the wheel. So step wisely, but not fearfully. Okay? So there's this is again an expansion feeling, and I'm getting it from the chest here. There's just this expansion of confidence within you out in the world, where you would have been very nervous or held yourself back in many ways, or I used to think that being humble was everything, and it is. Like, it's still very important to me. Like, I don't walk around going, I'm some clairvoyant and I'm just awesome and I'm, so blessed by God and whatever. I'm grateful for all of that, but I'm humble about it, right? Some of the most humbling experiences I've had have been when I've received gifts from Spirit. But what I was also doing was allowing that to shut down my confidence, because I saw confidence as an exhibition of pride, which is the opposite of humility. And I was stuck in that, and now I can be confident. Yeah. Now I can be confident, and I'm not worried about how humble I am, because I know who I am. I know who I am. That's what the Emperor is about. You've had to learn, or are learning, who you actually are, so you can stop all of the mind effery that those things hold you back from being who you truly are. And so this is about you're finding your inner strength, and you're holding your chest out with just feeling great about yourself. And isn't that awesome? Your head is thinking about the tower, the destruction, the loss. And what's actually happening is that you're opening up and saying, this is who I am. My shoulders are back and down, and my chest is out. I'm feeling good. I am powerful. I've got this. Which very much is in line with the Emperor. So yes to that. And then you're going to go through what you need to go through to work out things on a relationship level. Okay. Then so we have the Sun in hidden fears and desires. So you're wanting to just get out into the world and do your thing and ride on your white pony, your white horse, and just ride into the sun and never have to worry about a thing again. It's the most powerful, most high vibrational card in the deck. And so that, like, you're wanting great things for yourself. You're wanting a sense of ease in life. And now I get to play in the sun. After all this toiling and working through you know, my hardships and difficulties and shocking moments, and all of my working through all of the things that were all the shackles of the past, all of the old ways of doing things. That cycle has come to an end now that Scorpio season is over, and when this year is over, again, we're going to go into new cycles of renewing, rebirth, amazing stuff. So you're getting a feeling of that, a sense of that. That's what I want. I just want to have fun. And Spirit's saying to you, go and do it. There's nothing. This is the time to start getting out there. And what they're saying is keep it balanced. Like if you find yourself out there and being very social or very interactive in your networks or whatever, also balance that out with reflective time. Don't busy yourself to the point where you forget how you had to operate in order to get through your emotional pain or mental anguish. I hope that makes sense, because you use that reflective time, the downtime, to replenish your energies, to be able to tap into how you feel about the energetics, the dynamics that are going on around you. If we just jump on the if we're just on the horse and we're just going and just having as much fun as we can, if we do that in an unbalanced way, it can be that there's so much going on that we're actually unable to process anything or use our gut instinct or use our intuition to navigate our way through. We're just going like a bull charging forward, trying to have as much fun as we can because we've been held back all this time doing our shadow work. Don't burst out at the gates necessarily, like just do it with ease and balance it out with reflective time to yourself. So if you find yourself in a new relationship, for example, or your current one is improving, or whatever the situation is, or next returns and you work things out, whatever it is, don't be like a bull at a gate. Just if things are going well, how do I explain it? Don't charge forward with that. Just ease into it. Don't make it the be all and end all of your life, because you still need to look after other areas of your life, and you still need to go at a pace that enables you to check in with yourself and make sure that you're okay with everything, and that, you know, intuitively everything feels fine, and and maintain your relationship with self. Don't give yourself 100% over into a relationship with somebody else. Be careful, and this is not a warning, it's just take care of yourself as you go out into the world, as you experience different things. Remember what you've learned. That's fine. But there also is some trepidation, some timidity, some, you know, I want to go and do this, but I'm not sure if I can. Just explore. It's kind of like the feeling that I'm getting is, say you wanted to go into a bar, you're either meeting friends there or a date or whatever, or it's a cafe or whatever it is, an establishment, and you're fine, you're nervous getting ready and whatever, but on approach you can hear all the noise and chatter and music and stuff and busyness within that building, and it really amps up your anxiety. But then when you go in there, the vibe is just so easy breezy. From outside it sounds like chaos and oh gosh, I don't want to be in such a stimulating, chaotic energy. But when you go in there, you go, oh, it's just people having fun, just people having a chat and a laugh, and you get a good vibe from it, and suddenly you're at ease. So don't let your timidity, your reservations stop you from experiencing things. If your gut tells you no, then listen to it. If your intuition tells you no, then listen to it. If spirit tells you no, listen to it. But if it's a yes, but I'm scared, just ease in and see how you go. And if you need to remove yourself, you need to remove yourself. Leave the party early or the date early or whatever. That's fine. There's no problem there. And where we end up is the Chariot. And so during this Sagittarius season, you're going to feel the charge. Like we've got the horse, we've got the Chariot, the wheels in your hand, yeah? You're being propelled forward because of stuff that's happened in the past. You've got a greater sense of understanding of yourself, greater relationship with yourself. You're not going to let yourself down anymore. You've developed the skill of being able to hang back and just observe what's going on around you before you act. The Chariot energy is get on your chariot and move forward. Go forth and multiply. I think that's the words that are coming. Ah, dear. So I think yeah, I'll leave that where it is. So my eyes keep getting drawn to the stars. I don't know if you can see it. My eyes keep getting drawn to it. So it's like at different points in time, you're going to know where to go, in what direction to take. It's about you being divinely guided. So that will show through intuitively. You'll just know intuitively at pivotal moments which way to go, how to navigate yourself. But also it can happen through your in a particular place. Let's say for some reason I'm saying this, right? Let's say you're turning up for an interview somewhere and you're very nervous about the interview, or you're confident, whatever the feeling is that you've got. And you're in the waiting area, in reception or whatever, and you are waiting for this interview. Someone that you stumble into or fumble across, or that crosses your path, happens to say something in a certain way that makes you feel and think a certain thing, and it makes you realise, I don't know that this job is actually what I want. I'm going to do the interview anyway because it's a good experience, and I'd be interested to see whether I have a chance here. But I actually think that this other job or this other direction is better for me. So that's also how the universe works, or spirit works, to provide us with hints or clues as to which way to ride, which way to go. So it can happen through your intuition. It can also happen through the experiences that you have, the people you bump into. You happen to say random things that then makes your brain go, oh, maybe I should consider that as well as sitting for this interview. Perhaps I should, my focus is going to go in that direction now, because suddenly I have the confidence to be able to start to see myself in that kind of work, that kind of position. That might be more suited to who I am and my skill set, or the skill set I want to develop. Yeah. But this is also about, that was very specific for whoever needed that. It's also about, charity is also about getting away from, removing yourself from, moving on from people, places, environments that no longer serves you to stay there. So remember before I was saying we've stayed too long in situations before, whether it's relationship or workplace, whatever. In the past, we've stayed too long. We've endured it for longer than we really should have, could have. I don't like using those words, but you get the drift, right? When you look back and you see the red flags and the dynamics of the way things were operating, you should have removed yourself from that situation. You could have. So who you are today, let me get my language correct, who you are today would not tolerate that situation as long as you did in the past. Okay, so this is about you recognizing where you want to be and where you don't want to be, and with whom, and for how long, and blah blah blah, and making decisions So there'll be choices coming through Sagittarius season. There'll be choices available to you, choices like you've never seen before. And the reason I say that is because today you recognise all of the choices that you have, or way more of the choices that you have at any given point, because you have the courage to what's the word? It's like if I never had the internal courage to I'm going to say the wrong words, but I'm going to say it anyway. See, Sagittarius season. To develop in certain ways, or like there's certain paths in life that I would just not even think about taking because I didn't have the self-confidence or self-belief, the belief in myself and my abilities, that I could even operate that way or do that thing. Then when that opportunity to head in that direction appears, I won't even see it. Like I'm blind to it because I would never, like I just assume that's for someone else. And in certain cases in the past, you may have handballed that opportunity to someone around you and encouraged them to do it. But the opportunity actually was for you. But because we couldn't even fathom, we couldn't even get our heads around finding the confidence or imagining ourselves being so confident or able to be able to do that job, live in that house, be with that partner, whatever, we don't even see the opportunity. We don't even acknowledge, pardon me, that there's an opportunity there to be had because we just can't even imagine ourselves going down that path. It's too scary. So that's not for us. Now you can see, you will through Sagittarius season begin to see, actually I have many opportunities available to me, ones that have always been there or that have been showing up on a recurring basis in the past that I've never considered. Today I can consider them. Yep. And so underlying all of this is the Magician. So weave your magic. This is a period of weaving your magic. How do I want my life to be? What do I need to get away from in order to be in places that are better for me? Like whatever, make your decisions and make them intuitively and, you know, take heed, but also do it for yourself. Do what you need to do for yourself. Creativity, expressing yourself creatively. And that can show in many different forms in your life. So whatever works for you, you do that. I've been told to pull out a card from here. I didn't have one in the last reading. I had one of these jump out at me when I wasn't even wanting to use the deck. And they've provided some good insight. Okay. I hope you could see me shuffling there, and this popped out, and so it's and the funny thing is that I'm not one of those readers that, and it sort of drives me nuts. I don't want to talk against any other readers in the way that they do things, but when I have to watch it and there's shuffle, and there's cards flying around everywhere. It's awesome, it's spontaneous, it's leaving things to chance. I get all the reasons why they do things that way, and that kind of just happened then where I had this card pop out, but actually it was the card that was going to land on the top. I like to shuffle and then use it in the order that they appear from the top. That's how I work. I'm not saying that's better than anyone else. It's just different, and there's many people who do it this way as well. And so what I'm saying is, I'm like, when do you want me to stop, Spirit? And this card that like just sort of fumbled out unexpectedly, but then I watched and I realized that was the card that would have been on top. So it's perfect, right? And it's the lovers. The lovers, the lovers, the lovers. Okay? So the love cycle is returning. So even if you've been in a relationship for a long time, something's coming around again. Something's coming around, the Wheel of Fortune, something's coming around again, opportunities, something's coming around again, even if it's a long-term relationship that you're in, that a cycle is coming around again whereby there can be more celebration, enjoyment, I'll say if there's a warning with this card, particularly this card from this deck, there can sometimes be, it's like this woman is having fun and she looks amazing and everything, she's having fun and she's just enjoying the moment. Sometimes we can get pulled in another direction. Sometimes our potential partner comes along or our partner comes along and says, hey, how about we go over that way? That we kind of get distracted or pulled in another direction through the relationship. That's what I'm saying. And what I'm saying is, because you remember earlier on I was saying that, you know, we our amiability, our eagerness to please, our whatever, that we just in the past have just gone along with things and not wanted to say no to people or not wanted to take time to assess the situation before we make a decision, and so we just go along with it. This is what I'm getting from this card is, don't do that anymore, and make a conscious decision in terms of where you want to head. You can say, he might be saying, hey, let's go that way, and you can say, nah, I want to go in this way, or I'm happy where I am. It can be that and see the hills going up, and so he might be saying, let's escalate things, let's build on this, and you might be saying, I'm enjoying things where they are right now, but I have passion for you, but I'm right now, let's just enjoy this. Let's let that progression happen naturally. Or it might be that you agree, and after a certain amount of time you say, okay, we need to slow down, slow the horse down, because you feel like you're being taken out of your safety zone too quickly. So don't do anything that do things differently to what you would have done before. Using your intuition is what stops you from being taken down the garden path. Paying attention to your intuition and your gut feeling on things is what protects you from going to being led by somebody else into a space, environment, life that you wouldn't have chosen for yourself, or it exposes you too much, makes you too vulnerable, whatever the words are, you don't feel ready for, or whatever. In some instances in life, sometimes that can lead us to things that we can never imagine, like in a good way. It can be absolutely beyond our wildest dreams. But if your previous experience with this person shows you that that's not the case, then why would you get led down a path where you don't know where it goes, but he or she knows? They know where they're taking you, but you don't know. So you need to have your wits about you. Yeah, do things differently. I'm not trying to put a negative on something that should be so amazing, but we all know relationships can cause a lot of pain. So we just need to have our wits about us, listen to our intuition, notice all the red flags, but there's also purple ones, right? So it's a spiritual journey. Sometimes, say if it's a new person that you're seeing, or about about to see. Sometimes red flags come up, warning signals come up in their behaviours or what you notice about them at the beginning of the relationship or a few months into it or whatever. And in the past you would have ignored them, overlooked it, ignored your intuition around it and how you felt about it, and just go, oh, well, I might just be looking at things wrongly, or I really like this person so much, I'm going to overlook that. That now you'll say, I'm going to look at that. I'm going to question what's actually going on here. You actually ask them. Like, so say if it's some kind of interaction they're having, for some reason I'm getting your partner is a man, and the man has a daughter, fully grown daughter, and there's some dynamic going on there where he's giving you bits of information, and he may not be deliberately editing himself or omitting information from you, but just says, oh, I've got to deal with this, or I've got to da-da-da, and gives you sort of minimal information on it, whatever. And it's marking a red flag for you. It's making you think, oh, I've been in this situation before where the daughter's caused a lot of trouble for me, or whatever. Or where I've noticed that the father's actually quite abusive of the daughter, but he's not letting me know what he's doing when he says he has to deal with this. And then I learned later on that this man is actually an abuser, whatever, right? But this time you don't overlook it, no matter how much you like the person or how much promise there is within the relationship, and you actually ask what's going on in a supportive way. And you feel you have the right to ask because you want to know what's going on in the other aspects, other parts of my partner's life, and how is he or she handling those things. Is this person abusive to other people? Is this person generous to other people and supportive? What is his attitude towards his family and why? How does he conduct himself or herself? And then that's how you learn things about, but you have to ask, and you have to kind of, is it okay if I come with you? Or let them go and do what they have to do for their daughter, and then when they return, or in the days after, you say, hey, can we sit down and talk about what you just went through? Oh no, I don't need to talk about it. Yeah, but I do, because I want to understand more about your life and the dynamics that are at play in your life, and that way you get more information. And they may lie to you. They might, everyone, there's free will involved everywhere, right? They may still give you a sugar-coated version of things that are going on, but it's okay. You ask the questions you ask. In future, you'll remember what you asked, and you'll remember what the answers were. So then when you learn more later on, you can say, this was said to me then, but this turns out to be the reality. And then you can assess whether you continue to step forward, confront that person, hold them accountable, help them if it's the other way around. You didn't realise that they had been really trying to help their daughter in so many ways, but she's abusive to herself and him. I hope that makes sense. And so this partner didn't want to give you too much information because they didn't want you to get involved in the drama that is his daughter. They're trying to protect you. Yeah? So it goes in all different ways. It's not always about us being taken advantage of. It can also be that sometimes there's stuff going on that people want to protect you from. Or they don't want the effects of that area of their life to taint or burden their relationship because they hold that to be sacred. Okay, so sometimes what we don't know is not always bad for us. I'm not saying live in not knowing. I'm saying ask the questions, but sometimes it's not always about some bad intent on the other person's part. But there is certainly a lot of room for growth and benefit from developing your relationship skills, put it that way. Yeah. And real love. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you have an awesome month. I'm going to do the weekly readings and any other time Spirit tells me to through the next month. But I hope it's an awesome one for you, and I hope that I have given you some things to think about and feel about, and that puts you in good stead to how to navigate your way through. Okay? Have a great time. All the best. See you next time.